This semester, I have been focusing on the forgotten soldiers of our military. For this service project, I brought in this topic to talk about the forgotten members of our communities. The Christmas season is here, and along with it comes, the big red kettle, the bell ringers, and that sometimes annoying bell that you hear as you run in and out of stores to buy last-minute gifts. And many of us wonder, what good does giving my change actually do? 2 weeks ago, I was in a rush to find a service project because I was sick and I missed my opportunity to work with the Wounded Warriors Project. I got a hold of the Salvation Army and they were so gracious and they got me in the very next day and they were just amazing to work with. Along with that, I also did some research with the organization. The Salvation Army provides a variety of services to our local communities to try and meet the spiritual, emotional, and physical needs of those less fortunate. In this speech, I would like to inform you all of the background of the Salvation Army, my experience volunteering for this organization, as well as how they inspire their communities. Let's go back to the beginning of the Salvation Army in Texas. The Salvation Army was inspired by the work of William Booth, an ordained Methodist minister in 1865. He recognized the material, emotional, and spiritual needs of poverty-stricken London. He became involved in feeding and sheltering the hungry, and this inspiration spread to 126 different countries, including the United States, according to the Salvation Army Texas website. It's important to learn the history of this organization in order to maintain its integrity in the future and carry on with all the good that it does. An Italian naval captain by the name of Adam Janelle founded the Salvation Army in Texas. He met the Salvation Army on a trip to Calcutta in India and was touched by the mission work that they were doing there. So when he moved to the United States, which in Dallas in particular, he decided to begin preaching to the settlers in a Salvation Army uniform. Janelle wrote letters to Booth, imploring him to send over officers, and his requests were granted. The Salvation Army of Texas was founded in 1889. Today it has grown to over 155 ordained minister officers, as well as 1,600 employees and over 1,000 volunteers. Next, I'd like to talk about my experience volunteering. For 2 days, for $2 each, my friend Abby and I stood outside the Post Oak Mall and Hobby Lobby, ringing the bell and asking for donations. On November 14th, the Salvation Army announced through Facebook that they were kicking off the holiday season with a Kettle Kickoff 2014. They began hiring bell ringers for minimum wage, as well as asking for volunteers to kind of help with the workload. Seeing this got me talking to some of the leaders, and immediately I could recognize their passion for what they do. The position they had for me volunteering was outside Post Oak Mall from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night. I had a lot of fun ringing the bell, but it was absolutely freezing, and I had to wear at least 2 jackets and gloves just to be comfortable. I would, wish people happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays. I didn't want to wish them Merry Christmas because I felt like it was too soon. It slipped out once or twice, and people called me out on it because, it was only November. My friend Abby came by later with hot chocolate and Santa hats, which I think is totally iconic for, a bell ringer, and it was really funny. It was pretty cheesy and awesome. I accidentally broke my bell right after she came, and so she is awesome, and she started singing Christmas songs. A lot of people kind of jokingly started dancing along, and some people sat and listened, and it was amazing the amount of donations that we got after that started happening. It was incredibly silly and absolutely hilarious, and we had so much fun doing it. Now I'd like to get into how the Salvation Army influences our community. Standing outside a building asking for change kind of seems minuscule and tedious, but it makes a huge difference. Because sometimes we take Christmas for granted, kind of like getting gifts, having those Christmas dinners, and spending quality time with our family, and we forget that not many people get that opportunity. Millions of dollars are donated each year to aid needy families, senior citizens, and the homeless, according to the Salvation Army Christmas Assistance Mission. Donations to the Red Kettle provides financial assistance to needy families and make sure it goes to Christmas dinners, giving them gifts. It also goes to families of prisoners. It's so easy to forget these individuals in our community, especially those imprisoned and in nursing homes, and I think that's heartbreaking. This organization works so hard to make these people feel loved, important, and remembered. I could see it in the employees' faces as well as in those who volunteered that they truly cared about their cause. In conclusion, the Salvation Army provides a variety of services, including the Red Kettle Project, to meet the spiritual, emotional, and physical needs of those less fortunate in our communities. Today, I've informed you of the history of the Salvation Army in Texas, my experience volunteering with the organization, as well as how they help and inspire their community. I hope that this also inspires you to donate even a small amount of change next time you see that red kettle, because your little change makes a huge difference to those families, and it helps a great organization to continue in doing the most good.